Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a wonderful, wonderful morning. All right, guys, this is the 6-star Venom the Duck gameplay video. It has been highly requested, so I am bringing it to you. Hopefully you enjoy it. We're going to go ahead and get plugged in, starting with this site called Aunt May. Now, Aunt May is this wonderful site that really you can input your champions and it's going to tell you everything you can about it. So the address is up there, antm.ai. And as you can see, we've already pulled up Venom the Duck, 6-star, and he is going to be a rank 1. So as you can see, pretty good prestige, good HP, good attack. You know, it gives you all your stats right here, and talks about his signature ability. His signature ability, when he's awakened, the toxic armor, the 26% duration on toxic armor is really good. Um, so, but it's not necessarily a make or break for the character. So with Vim Duck, you have these things called aberrations, okay? And you're going to build from 0 to 100% over time. And once it hits 100%, you're either going to get a fury buff, a precision buff, a power gain buff, an armor up buff, a regeneration buff, or a perfect block buff. So these are categorized into two categories, frenzy category and survival category. Now, where that comes to be some of importance is when we set up the synergy team, we're going to want to add someone for the frenzy because we really want to build up those furies and power gains. So the critical hits have a chance to bleed, 55% chance to bleed, pretty good bleed. And how you have something called an RNA bank. So whenever these buffs come up, you can store 3 of these buffs per game. And how you do that is a special 1, special 2, or a heavy attack. Something else to mention about the special 2 attack is that it allows you to put this toxic armor buff. So they're actually cooking, I guess you would say, in their own metal. And when you hit them, it's going to deal more damage. So people with armor buffs, you can apply this on and you'll get some pretty good damage out of. But it's also good for just normal damage. And then your special 3 is what brings back your RNA bank. Now, we're going to go ahead and hop into the gameplay because I know people get tired of people talking and describing. So the last thing, really all we're going to be using is the synergy for Carnage. That way we just proc more of the frenzy buffs, and then we'll just have some other critical damage buffs in there. So let's go ahead and get this started. So all right, we'll go ahead and turn up the volume a little bit. Where I headed into first here was the variant chapter, or variant 2 chapter 3, the last one. So 3.3 and variant 2. And you can see my team right there. The rest is really just for synergy buffs, and you know, Venom's always good to have in there if you want to take down his path. So I'm going to show you scenario 1 first, where we go and take Hood and Storm, and I can't remember who the last one is, but as you can see, this variant 2 is very special because these champs not only take 200% more bleed damage, but Venom the Duck also gets double buff or debuff. So this isn't a very good, accurate depiction of what he can do. But for variant 2, he is an MVP of this chapter, in my opinion. As long as you can have someone to take down the Korg and the Hyperion on the other paths, he's a pretty good, viable option for this. So as you can see, we procced perfect block the first time. That is not what we wanted. That is not good. We're also dealing with a little bit of Bane here. So if the playstyle seems different, it's because of the Bane. So we're just going to let this one run out and wait for the next one to go. So the next one's regeneration. So as you can see with them, the Duck, our very first 2 aberration buffs weren't even the frenzy buffs, and we had a 25% frenzy buff on. So I went ahead and picked up the heal, stored it in the RNA bank, and what's going to happen is it's going to roll over to the next fight at the beginning. So our next fight is going to be Symbiote Spider-Man. So we'll start off with regeneration, which is not what we wanted. We either wanted power gain, fury, or critical / precision. So as you can see, we proc heal. We are going to heal pretty good here. We're doing a lot of damage in this variant too. I just have to make sure and make people understand that this is not normal. Okay, there is our power buff. So we're going to go ahead and put that in the RNA bank, and we actually stored another revive. And that's something I want to talk about. When you start the beginning of the fight, if you have the 3 that you want, just keep spamming the SP1 at the beginning of every fight, and you'll keep storing those 3. I think you can store up to 12 if I'm not mistaken. So next we go up to Storm. These fights are actually getting faster and faster and faster. But as you can see, it's not quite as fast as what the next round was when we actually got the buffs we wanted. So we're going to go in there and get Storm. Notice we started out, it should be 2 regeneration and 1 power gain, but since the buffs are doubled in variant 2, 3.3, you're seeing that. And we're building up a lot of power very quickly. In fact, I kind of had to slow down my play style so that we could get some more aberration buffs. So that was just to transfer it back over, but we messed up and hit another bleed. So we actually had to go back in there and get a power gain. So we never, during that time, procced a Fury buff. And that is an issue. That is an issue. That is a Korg, and you actually need a specialized character, in my opinion, to defeat that Korg, or you're going to use a lot of revives. So let's go into the Sentry matchup. Now, we mess up a little bit in the Sentry matchup. We do get hit with a special during it, but I did want y'all to see how good Venom the Duck is and how fast he can complete this variant. So our power gate is through the roof at the moment. Just through the roof. We are at 100% health after 3 fights. It's pretty amazing what he can do in this variant. This is where we mess up. Luckily, it pushes us to an SP3 so we don't take any more Bane damage. And it's going to redo the regeneration on here. So, as you can see, we'll start regening up. And we're still regening. It's pretty good, in my opinion. So, we went ahead and stored that critical hit buff. And it went ahead and stored 3 more, or 2 more, 1 of the power gain, 1 of the regen. So, as you can see, you can really get a lot of these buffs. Now we finally get the Fury buff. The problem is it's a little bit too late. I don't think we had any more room in our RNA bank to do this. This next round is going to be when I went through, it's actually the first time I went through with Venom the Duck. And you will see the difference, in my opinion. I forgot to turn on the volume, so I didn't know if I wanted to use this video. But when you show these two in comparison, you can really see the difference when you get the buffs you want at the start. So automatically we get the precision buff, and I go ahead and store a precision buff. So that means we're going to get more critical hits, which is definitely what we want in this chapter. So we get our power gain. We're going to go ahead, stash a power gain in our RNA bank. So we have a power gain and a critical buff, precision. So now that's what we want. We're going to start out the next one with a power gain and a critical, and we're going to be hitting really good. Oh. So as you can see, we're going in against Spider-Man Symbiote. We start off with our power gain and our critical hit, and we're just melting him. I mean, we're literally just melting him. In fact, I go ahead and I store those other 2 buffs, and we get the Fury. So I'm going to get a Fury. My next fight is just, watch this Storm fight. You will be amazed at how fast this Storm goes down. We now have, if my math is correct, 2 criticals, 2 power gains, 1 Fury. And they're all going to be doubled because it's variant 2, 3.3 at the very beginning. So we walk in there and we're just going to melt her, guys. I mean, we're just going to melt her. It doesn't matter at this point. We do take a little bit of Bane damage here, but man. And then we stored some more in the bank again. Look at that. That's insane, guys. That is insane. So that is actually what I did my first clear of variant 2 with, which was pretty sweet, I thought. So now we're going to go to everybody's favorite, the Realm of Legends Winter Soldier. So This is kind of a long fight because I do want to show, we've showed them the Duck's strengths. Now let's show his weaknesses. His weaknesses is long fights on the first 2 fights. Until you can really get this set up and your RNA bank going, it really takes a long time. I believe that this Winter Soldier took us about 300 hits. But what this will do is give us time to talk about how you really want to use your SP2 a lot in this because of the toxic armor. And you're going to see I'm going to actually hit for more damage when that toxic armor is up. So, to speed up your first few fights, you're going to be wanting using your SP2 while banking your aberration buffs. So we go back to our SP2. We're already at about 61 hits. We still got a long ways to go, guys. Long ways to go. So, as you can see, we're just going to keep hitting in, keep hitting in. And that's pretty much how this fight's going to go for a while, guys. This is pretty much what it is. I'm going to show the whole fight because I do want people to see his weakness. Now, Venom the Duck is one of these characters that I think that he is... Everything that you do with him is circumstantial. So when I say that, what I mean by that is that he is going to be perfect for the right situations and bad for the wrong situations. So if you are fighting a Dormammu, a duped Dormammu, this is probably the worst character you can take in. Legitimately probably the worst character you can take in. Because even if you're good at not getting your dexterity prop against Dormammu, every time these buffs expire, you're going to be degenning. So, now someone that this would do very well against, Legacy pointed out in 5.4.6, the main Ultron boss, if you apply those toxic armors to that Ultron, he just cooks and melts. Legacy has a really good video on defeating that Ultron with Venom the Duck. It was very impressive. Another fight that he's not going to be good against is probably Korg. He's not going to be the best against Korg because you have to put in so many hits and get your, aberrations built up. Now, I guess if you could store him at the start, it might be worth it. But, if Korg was your first fight, it's probably not going to go very well for you, especially a high-level Korg. You should do pretty well against Red Skull with his armor up buffs at the beginning if you can get to your SP2. Venom the Duck will be very good in uncollected quests and 6.1, 6.2 quests where you're not bleeding or being poisoned. Because the original fight's just going to kill you. Now, if you're on one of those nodes where it's like degen over time over 60 seconds or something like that, and you can proc some of those regeneration aberration buffs, man, you actually could do some good damage there, and whatever you degen, you could get back. So, Venom the Duck will be circumstantial. His playstyle is not really my playstyle, to be honest with you. I actually prefer more of a Blade or a Captain Marvel movie or an Omega Red. I really prefer a lot of active, active style gameplay. This is a build-up gameplay, so it is active, but it's definitely a ramp-up champ in my opinion. And if you're going to use a ramp-up champ, if you have a choice between Venom the Duck or Cull Obsidian, I'm going to tell you use Cull Obsidian every time, except for Variant 2. But as you can see, we got our Toxic Armor on. We did proc the Fury buff, and we just hit for some major damage on Winter Soldier. We're going to end this hit count probably around 250. Maybe a little bit more because of the SP2. SP2 puts off some pretty good hits. So, as you can see, versus other 455 champs or other 6-star champs, it's not as good. My 6-star Stealthy would clean this Winter Soldier's clock with a lot less hits. Same thing with my Namor. So, if you're looking for someone with real good burst damage, this probably isn't your guy. Now, for, like I said, Variant 2, this is probably your guy. So we're going to go in here. We're going to show some more gameplay of him. And we start off with our 3 buffs, which was really good. The problem is that Captain Marvel blocked the whole time and then intercepted me. I mean, that was really the problem. So we lost all of our buffs at the beginning. If they come out with a synergy and they may have it, I need to look in depth more into it. But if they came out with a synergy that made the aberration buffs last longer, once they are activated or reactivated, then that would be really good. But whenever you watch these fights, you will see the problem you're mainly running into is, well, running out of the aberration buffs. So, and I got kind of mad, so I went ahead and went for a special 3 again just to re-put those buffs back out there, because I was a little upset that happened. So I do want to show that the damage can be very good. You know, those are pretty good. 2 and 4 Ks, that's pretty good. For a 6-star champ, they, you know, some hit harder, some hit less, you know, in my opinion. So, but what I would really like to see with Venom the Duck is more control over the aberration buffs, not so much RNG, and an ability to, let's say, an ability to manage the buffs just a little bit better and for longer. So we're going to go ahead and stop this fight. We actually end this fight about 20 fights sooner, or 20 hits to 30 hits sooner than the original. But I don't want to bore y'all with continuing on this. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So as you can see, there's Venom the Duck. There it is, guys. I know this video is a little bit longer than what my videos normally are. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Also, we have started a new Discord server. The link is in the description below. Please let me know what else you would like to see me do. I hope everyone has a blessed day, and peace.